I stopped forcing myself to do the dishes, and my kitchen has never been cleaner. Sounds backwards? Stay with me, because the reason you can't start that task you've been avoiding for 3 weeks has almost nothing to do with laziness, and everything to do with a hidden tax your brain is paying that you've probably never named. In this video, I'm going to show you how to trick your ADHD brain into doing things it hates, not with fake urgency, not with self-threats, but with 3 strategies that actually work with your wiring instead of against it. And stay to the very end, because there's a specific way people apply all 3 that quietly backfires, turning the solution itself into just another hyper-focus project you abandon in 9 days. Skip that part and you'll undo everything. Here's the scene. You know exactly what you need to do. Taxes, that email, the shower. It would take 20 minutes, maybe less. And yet you've been orbiting it for days. Opening the tab, closing the tab, feeling worse each time. I used to think this made me broken. I once let a single form sit on my desk for 2 months. 2 months of daily guilt over something that took, I timed it, 11 minutes. What finally changed things wasn't discipline. It was realizing that I don't want to isn't one feeling. It's a bundle. And if you treat it as one feeling, every fix you try will miss. Researchers who study executive function talk about task initiation as its own separate skill, distinct from motivation, distinct from knowing what to do. Your prefrontal cortex, the part handling planning and self-activation, works differently with ADHD. So the problem was never, you don't care enough. The real problem is this. For a brain with ADHD, even a dead simple task comes with a hidden cost attached. There's an invisible toll on starting it, on staying in it, on coming back to it. A neurotypical brain pays that toll with pocket change and barely notices. Ours pays in blood. That's why just do it has never once worked on you. The good news, that cost isn't fixed. You can lower it. Strategy 1, and here's the key to lowering it. Something specific drives that cost up and makes you avoid the task in the first place. That something is friction, and it comes in 3 main types. So, I don't want to do this is actually 3 different animals wearing one coat. Animal 1, start friction. You don't know where to begin. The task is a fog. Animal 2, sensory friction. Something about it is physically unpleasant. Cold, sticky, loud, smelly. Animal 3, emotional friction. You're scared of what you'll find. Failure, criticism, a number you don't want to see. Here's why this matters. The fix for each one is completely different. And if you use the wrong one, you'll conclude, nothing works for me. If you're avoiding your taxes because the first screen is overwhelming, that's start friction. A timer won't help. What helps is someone sitting next to you for the first 5 minutes. If you're avoiding dishes because of the feeling of wet food touching your hands, that's sensory friction. No planner on earth fixes that. A pair of rubber gloves fixes it for $4. That's the dishes confession from the top of the video, by the way. My kitchen didn't get cleaner because I got disciplined. It got cleaner because I stopped white-knuckling through a sensation I hate and just put the gloves on. And if you're avoiding an email because you're scared of what's inside, that's emotional friction. The sneakiest one. The fix here is to split the task in 2. Don't set the goal as reply. Set it as open it, read the subject line and the first sentence. That's the whole job. Checking the result and responding to it are 2 completely different tasks, and the dread lives almost entirely in the reply you're already imagining, not in the 4 seconds of actually reading. Separate the checking from the responding and most of the fear drains out on its own. And the shower thing. If you're one of the many ADHD people who avoids showering, and I'll say it since nobody else will, this is incredibly common and you're not disgusting. Ask yourself, is it the shower? Or is it the cold transition before and after? For me, it was never the water. It was standing there freezing. And then afterward, sitting on my bed wrapped in a towel, unable to move to the next step, for 45 minutes. So I stopped setting take a shower as the goal and designed the transitions instead. Warm the bathroom first. Lay out clothes in the exact order I'll put them on. Towel within arm's reach, not across the room. And crucially, remove anywhere to sit afterward, so the towel paralysis phase physically cannot happen. The task didn't get smaller. I just deleted the exact thing my brain was actually refusing. So before your next avoided task, ask one question. Am I avoiding this because I don't know where to start? Because it feels bad on my skin? Or because I'm afraid of the result? Wrong diagnosis, wrong fix. That one question has saved me more hours than any app. But here's the thing. Diagnosis only tells you what's wrong. It doesn't get you moving. That's strategy 2. Willpower is a negotiation, and your ADHD brain is a better lawyer than you. So stop negotiating. Change the physical environment so the good choice is 1 motion and the bad choice is 5. This strategy has 3 pieces. Let's build the room together. First piece. Make the behavior you want easy and the behavior that derails you hard. I call it the 1 to 5 rule. The behavior you want should take 1 action to start. The behavior that derails you should take at least 5. Want to write the report? The laptop opens straight into the document. Meanwhile, the phone is powered off, zipped in a bag, in a drawer, in another room. That's not self-control, and that's a moat. You're not stronger than the impulse. You're just making the impulse walk further than its attention span. Want to work out? Don't rely on morning motivation. Gym clothes laid out on the floor beside the bed, and the couch remote buried in a cabinet. Impulses are fast, but they're also lazy. Use that. Second piece, put things where you fail, not where they belong. Here's an experiment. For 1 week, don't tidy anything. Just observe where stuff actually piles up. Cups by the couch? That's not a character flaw, that's data. The pile is telling you where the storage should be. Cups accumulate by the sofa. A return basket lives by the sofa now. Clothes pile up next to the bed. A wear-again basket next to the bed, not a hamper across the room. Receipts explode at the front door. A receipt drop box at the front door. You keep losing chargers. A charger in every room. Duplicates aren't wasteful. They're accessibility infrastructure. The organizing world tells you everything needs its proper place. I'm telling you the proper place is wherever your body actually stops. Third piece, and this one's fun. Give your brain a costume. Your brain loves context cues. There's a reason you can't relax in your office and can't work in your bed. So assign a specific physical object to a specific mode. Indoor sneakers mean housework mode. A particular pair of headphones means admin mode. One specific cardigan means writing mode. 2 rules make this work. 1. The object stays exclusive. Wear the sneakers all day and the signal dies. 2. The object triggers 1 tiny action, not a whole session. Sneakers on doesn't mean clean for 30 minutes. Sneakers on means pick up 1 thing off the floor. That's it. The first action is the whole contract, because for our brains, starting is the expensive part. Everything after the start is nearly free. Now, you've diagnosed the friction, you've rigged the room. But there's a failure point neither of those touches, and it's hiding somewhere you'd never think to look, in the words you used to write the task down in the first place. This is the one that quietly wrecked every system I ever built. Strategy 3. Look at your to-do list right now. I'll bet money it says things like taxes, portfolio, clean room. Those aren't tasks. Those are project nouns, categories. And every time your eyes land on one, your brain has to reinterpret the entire project from scratch before your hands can move. That interpretation step is exactly what ADHD executive function struggles with. You wrote a to-do list that makes you redo all that mental work every single time you read it. So here's my rule. Project nouns are banned. Every item needs a physical verb, an object, and a visible finish line. Not do portfolio. Open the portfolio file and drop 1 cover image onto page 1. Not clean room. Sort the clothes on the bed into 2 baskets. Done when I can see the mattress. The test is brutal but simple. If reading the item doesn't make a specific body movement pop into your head, it doesn't belong on the list. Same logic applies to alarms. An alarm that says 2 p.m. report is asking future you to make a decision at the worst possible moment. Research on what's called prospective memory, remembering to do things in the future, which studies show adults with ADHD find measurably harder, points to something called implementation intentions. When X happens, I do Y. Pre-deciding the action means there's nothing left to figure out when the alarm actually goes off. Your body just follows the instruction. So the alarm doesn't say taxes. It says open laptop. Click the tax login button. It doesn't say gym. It says put on the shoes by the door and step outside. Here's the real principle underneath all of this, because it was never actually about your to-do list. It's this: always hand future you an action to execute, not a problem to rethink. That's what the wording rule does. That's what the action alarm does. And it has one more place to live: the moment you stop. Because how you stop working today decides whether you ever start again tomorrow. When ADHD people abandon a task midway, the hardest part of tomorrow isn't the work. It's reconstructing yesterday's mental state from cold ashes. So never just close the laptop. Leave what I call a re-entry packet. 3 lines: where I stopped, the exact next physical action, and why I was stuck. Mine from last Tuesday. Finished competitor table to page 3. Next, copy 3 price numbers from B's pricing page. Stuck on, need to check if tax is included. Tabs left open, file left open. Next morning, 0 archaeology. I read 3 lines and my hands were moving in under a minute. Tomorrow's hardest moment, handled the night before, while it still costs you almost nothing. Now here's the twist, and it might be the most important 60 seconds in this whole video. You now have all 3 strategies. And having all 3 is exactly where most people blow it. Because everything I just gave you can become the trap itself. If you're anything like me, you're already planning to install all of this tonight. New baskets, new list system, relabeled alarms, color-coded everything. And I need you to hear this. That is your ADHD brain doing what it does best, turning fixing my life into a shiny new hyper-focused project that collapses in 9 days. I've done it at least 5 times. I once spent an entire weekend building the perfect productivity system and was so burned out I didn't use it once. So this isn't a 4th strategy. It's the one rule for using the other 3. Don't change everything at once. Pick one task that repeatedly blocks you. Identify its one biggest friction. Remove only that, nothing else. Live with it for 2 weeks. Boring? Absolutely. That's exactly why it works. The systems that survive are the ones too small to become projects. So, tricking your ADHD brain was never about fake deadlines or self-blackmail. It's about finding that hidden cost and quietly lowering it. Strategy 1 is the diagnosis. Figure out which friction is actually stopping you. Not knowing where to start, the way it feels, or fear of what you'll find. Strategy 2 is rigging the room so the right move is the easy one. Strategy 3 is handing future you a ready-made action instead of a category to decode. On your list, in your alarms, and in the note you leave when you stop. Your brain isn't broken. It's just been paying full price for things other brains get for free. Time to stop overpaying. Tell me in the comments, what's the one task you've been avoiding the longest? And now that you've watched this, which friction is it? Start sensory or fear? I read every comment, and I genuinely want to know, because naming the friction out loud is honestly half the work of beating it. And if this clicked for you, I make one video like this every week. Real ADHD strategies, tested on my own chaotic life first. Subscribing means the next tool shows up exactly when you need it, instead of you having to remember to look for it. And let's be honest, remembering to look for things is not our strong suit. So hit subscribe and the like button. That's it for today. Go pick your one task, find its one friction, and change one small thing. Not the whole system, just one thing. I'll see you in the next one.